Hello, I'm early. I have no idea what I'm doing, so hopefully this won't be a disaster. But basically, what I'm going to do at noon, and I'll wait a few minutes, is I will do what I normally do when I'm just here by myself recording, and we'll see if it goes any better, right? We'll see if it gets any better. So we have a few minutes, I think 2 minutes, but we'll see if folks pop on. Um, And if you're here, say hello in the chat. If you're watching this afterwards, comment below and let me know what you think. So we're going to just read some runes. That's what we're going to do. So we'll hang out and wait. It's kind of nice to, my morning was so busy. So it's really great to like take this break. Like I needed a break and this required me to take a break. So that's good. And I didn't get to read Rune Stones because I hit the ground running this morning as we prepare for the new semester. So this is all good. I think we have one person here. So I to moderation, because I don't have a moderator, I had to set it in the settings that you have to be a member of the channel to comment, and you have to be a member for 5 minutes. So um, that prevents spammers because I go to a lot of live events and there's just like spam galore in the side, and they have moderators. So since I don't have a moderator, I figured I better do whatever I can to not let that happen. Um, so exciting! If you want a rune pulled for you, just put a request in the sidebar there in the chat bar, and I will ask Spirit for a message for you specifically for one pull readings. I feel like I'm going to clean the screen off because I feel like I'm fuzzy and I don't know. That's my very technical. I think it's this behind me is the windows. No matter where I go in my house, there's windows, so I can't ever avoid it. And I thought the darkening curtains would help, but the cats go underneath them and then open them up. All right. All right, we have I don't know if you can hear it, but we have a bell here that rings at noon out of the fire department. Hello, Megan. It's so nice to see you out in California. Happy morning. Good morning. I hope you have your coffee and whatnot. And what? This is my first live. So when I'm super famous reading runestones, you'll be like, I was at her first one. We're going to get started reading. Megan, if you want me, I will pull a stone for you. So welcome to my office. I'm just gonna read like I normally do. I will do a Celtic Cross reading, and then that'll be a general read, and then Megan, I'll pull for you. So we have our green man, our other green man, on either side. We have our Iona stones, which are here, and we'll ask Spirit for a general reading for our highest good, and just for those who follow along in the playbook, there's a candle and rope incense burning right now. I don't have any music on because I didn't know how music would interact with YouTube Live, so I didn't do music. You're going to Iona! Oh my gosh, you'll be able to get rocks too. You don't have to buy them. I bought one in the store because I felt like I wanted to put money into the community there, but I got this one on my own. I have actually a few more back there too that I got, and they were gifts for some people too. You will absolutely love it. Absolutely, absolutely love it. Hopefully the weather is good. The weather is a little weird, and every day they seem to have a power outage too. So prepared for that, and don't forget to take outlet converters. All right, let's see. A message for our highest good. Oh, so excited. So excited for you. All right, here we go. This is our present energy, and it is Anzus. So put that there. And then what brought us to Anzus? It's like stuck to my hand. This is the blank rune, which I actually don't read the blank rune. A lot of Rune Stone packets come with the blank rune. The blank rune was kind of added. Sometimes it means eternity or infinity. I don't actually read it. I keep it with the stones, though, because it came with the stones. I'll take another stone from Spirit. Hagelas or chaos. And what are the forces that we can't control? What are things in this situation that we cannot control? Nothis. And of course, this reading can resonate with me. It can resonate with you, or maybe somebody else that might watch this later. What are the forces that we can control? Iwas, which was yesterday's stone for meditation, if you watch that video. And what is the potential outcome? Isa. So, this reading has all three of the menacing stones in it. Holy Moses. Holy Moses. Wow. Anzus means insight, communication, inspiration, and true vision. I'm just using the handy dandy cheat sheet that I keep next to me. And we're going to look in the book. Normally, this is where I pause the video and I do all this kind of work so that you don't have to watch me do it. But I go into the book and I look at the description. So Anzus, which a lot of people confuse with Fehu because they're very similar. It's the Odin stone. So Odin got the knowledge of the runes by hanging upside down from the world tree. So that's why this is called the Odin stone. And it's mouth, communication, understanding, regeneration, breath of life, intelligence, communication, use of voice, speech, poetry, ancestral line, wisdom and knowledge, words of power, use your wit and words. And that's pretty much the energy I'm in right exactly at this moment. So what a good stone. But what got us here to this spot is chaos, right? And that's the Hagelas stone and the one of the menacing stones. So let's see what Hagelas. I mean, they're three in a row. It's crazy. Means hail. Nature, wrath, chaos, being tested, overcoming obstacles, warning, time of correction, frustrated, radical change, bad news, regression, inner harmony shattered, don't cross the line, know your limitations, things that can't be changed, unavoidable cycle of life, and suffering. So that's what brings us into this ability to talk, right? We've had experience. We've had experience in our life, and that's given us the ability to want to change and do something different. So even though Hagelas is in our past position, a lot of times, when you think about forest fires, like they're so devastating. They truly, truly are. And I'm sure in California you've dealt with this firsthand, and in Canada on this side we've dealt with it with the smoke. Um, but it's amazing how forests actually bounce back. It's amazing how new growth starts, and sometimes things have to fall apart for us to be in a spot where we can talk about things. And I think I'm gonna keep going with this reading, but this might be, just about um, my ability to talk about runestones, my ability to talk about my spiritual faith has definitely grown exponentially over the past year and a half because I fell down a mountain and I fractured my heel. And I was in a boot for a year, 8 months, I think it was total. And I couldn't go hiking. I couldn't go bagpiping. I couldn't do anything. I had to sit on my butt. And I'm not a good person to sit on my butt. I'm a person who wants to be constantly moving. And so I started getting into this stuff because I was like watching YouTube videos and I was really wrestling with myself over my faith. Not really my faith, because I think I've always believed in Jesus. It's just that I think that the church has it wrong. The Church Universal has it wrong. I think so. There was a lot of chaos and upheaval in my own personal life, my own spiritual life, because I had to let go of a lifetime of religiosity, whatever that's called, right? Religiousness, and so there was absolute upheaval and chaos and hail in my personal life. I was a missionary, like I was going to be a nun, so there was, a very big, you know, shifting of plates as far as that goes. It didn't change my faith in Christianity. I believe Jesus was filled with light and love and spent his life, brief as it was, spreading light and love. And I think all the things that get associated with Christianity have nothing to do with Jesus and have everything to do with our human frailty and misguidedness, and hate gets blanketed in his name where it shouldn't be. So that chaos happened. That's what got me to where I am today at this very moment, which is being able to talk about runestones, which I would have never done a year and a half ago. What I can't control is this Nothis stone, and so that's interesting because that's need, and you usually figure you can control your needs, right? You can control the things that you want or need. It's restriction, conflict, willpower, endurance, necessity, distress, restrictions, life lessons for development, opposite to heart, hard times are coming, must act or take action, life out of control, don't wait till it's too late, realistic worldview, obstacles created by you, obstacles created by others. And I think if this is the reading and this is what Spirit wants me to think about, you know, there are people in my life, clearly because of my past and my connections in the Christian world, who are very much opposed to what it is I'm doing right now, and are like, oh, holy smokes, BRT has fallen off the deep end. But I haven't, because my faith in Jesus hasn't changed. My subscription to the Lifelong magazine of human generated religious nonsense, that's expired, but the faith in Jesus hasn't expired, and my strength in my spirituality, I feel, is stronger now than it has been. But that isn't going to resonate well with other people, and I can't help that. I can't help um, what other people think about what it is I do, right? So, and I've talked about this in previous recent videos about finding a new tribe and finding people who I can connect with. That's kind of hard because I start talking about stuff, and it's funny. People will come to my house and be like, "Oh, do you have like something for this rash that I have?" So I go whip something up in my kitchen and put it in a little jar. I don't sell it because I can't sell it because that would be illegal. But I can make them something with honey and whatever, and I'll make them something. So they'll buy into it when they need it. But if I talk about it and I say, like, would you like me to send intentions for you? Would you like me to pray for you? Would you like a tea to help with your headaches? At first they're like, oh, I take Motrin. That's cool. When the Motrin doesn't work and then they're at the door, then they want it. And I feel like when you look through at historical people who have been accused of witchcraft, or if you look through at people who have been herbalists over time, and in 1692 in the States, in Salem, and you look at the folks, you think like those were the people that were helping people, but then got accused of, when things didn't go their way, then got accused of witchcraft and you know evil shenanigans or whatnot. um so you can't control that. You can't control what people are going to see in you, or what they're going to believe about you, or what they're going to think of you. And that's kind of hard. And one of the things that, if you've been watching the channel, know that I wrestle with is that everybody calls me a witch, even my own family. They all call me a witch. I don't identify as a witch because I don't identify with any of those terms. I I don't identify fully with Druidry because I feel like modern Druidry is just like church with different robes. Like they do the same things churches do. And witchcraft, from what I can see in Wicca as a form of witchcraft, I just see the same thing as church. I see the same politics. I see the same nonsense. I feel like it gets away from, it's like, who has the better spell candles and who does the more, the cooler whatever. Like, I think it's all bullshit. So I don't really like, I didn't leave the Christian church or the Christian, I mean, I didn't leave Christianity at all, but I didn't leave the church because, I just wanted to do something cooler or different. I left it because of the politics, and I left it because I thought it got away from the message of Jesus, which was light and love. So I don't want to go into another group that does all that crap too, right? So, oh, there's comments and I have to read them. Oh, yes, you learned about Odin. Oh, the three menacing stones. Yes, moving to Texas for your job. Yeah, oh my gosh. Yeah, oh, absolutely. Absolutely separate from religion. I feel like, and I don't know how this was for you, Megan, but for me, like growing up, like my mother had gifts. I know she did, and I know her mother did, but they never talked about them. And, you could never talk about tarot cards or Ouija boards or anything because instantly it was like you had made a pact with Satan. I'm like, like this weekend I want to go to a pagan festival. My husband, who was raised in the Roman Catholic Church, is like, are you sure you can go to that? Like, what? He's like, well, maybe something bad's gonna, like, what am I gonna do? Catch it? I'm not gonna catch something. I'm not gonna catch paganism. I'm not gonna catch witchcraft. I'm not gonna. It's not a disease. It's people who have a worldview, and we can have a conversation about a worldview. And if we want peace to happen, more Christians need to like say, listen, I'm not here to judge you. Let's have a conversation. What is it that you do? So when you look at it, Christians, pagans, witches, we all burn candles. We all burn incense. We all set intentions. We all set aside time to talk and to spirit about intentions. We do the same stuff. We just call it different things, right? So that's where I am with that. So then so the forces that we can't control are what people think of us. And the older I get, the less I care anyway. But and I'm Gen X, which means I don't care anyway. But I think I cared more about the religious people in my life, the people that I served with as a missionary. Because they just think I've gone off the deep end. That I've lost my mind, and I haven't. But the conversations are always, and I think this is the criticism that people have that is fair about the Christians that they encounter is that they're not willing to like even listen to what people have to say, and I've certainly encountered that myself as a Christian. So Christians don't accept me, and Druids don't accept me because some Druids believe that you can't be both Christian and Druid. But Druidry is both a religion and a philosophy, and I adhere to the philosophical principles. Um, not all Druids, not all witches, not all of anything agree on gods. They don't agree on a book. They don't agree on a set service. I will say about the Christian church and the Jewish faith and things like that, your denominations, they don't always agree, but, the Roman Catholic Church is the Roman Catholic Church and they do the same stuff, right? And then if you go to the Lutheran Church, they do the same stuff. There's two different kinds of Lutheran churches in the US. Missouri Synod and Evangelical. So they do their own stuff, right? The Baptists, there are all kinds of different kinds of Baptists. They all do whatever their brand is, they do that stuff. Um, you know, it's a little harder. You have to find a coven, you have to find a group of people, a grove of people who do things the way that you think that they should be done. Um, I don't know. It just feels like church to me. I have to read the comments. Yeah, which does not mean what we grew up learning it meant. And when you think about like the media and how the media portrays witchcraft, now that I've done much more, like I've gotten into this community and I'm like, nobody's riding around on a broom. Nobody's cooking toads' eyes. I mean, I make stuff out of herbs all the time. Not cooking eye of newt or anything like that. I do use a cauldron for my incense, and I do use a mortar and pestle to grind up herbs, but that doesn't make me, like I'm married to Satan or something. Like that's, we have really created a narrative, and it isn't anything that's true. Let's see. I've never. So this isn't. So I'm an English professor. I have never read or seen any of the Harry Potter stuff. I know. As magical as I go is probably the King Arthur, the literature surrounding King Arthur, Lord Tennyson. Um, just because I don't read a lot of modern fiction. I'm sort of stuck in the past. Hi, Kathy. Oh, absolutely, Kathy. There's definitely a distinction between being religious and being spiritual. It's so true. And then I think I didn't know that before. Like I thought they were the same. And now I feel like they're totally different. You can be both, right? You can be both religious and spiritual. And certainly in the mission work I did, I met people who are both. And some of my missionary friends are absolutely both of those things. But they are not automatically connected. But to carry on from our North Stone of what we can't control, what we can control is Iwas, which means horse, and that's transportation, movement, progress, trust, and change, teamwork, alliance, work together for a common goal, trust and cooperation, friendship, loyalty, home, devotion, and truth, harmonious connection, journey, travel, move from one situation to another, free spirit, spirit of the word, spirit of movement, change for yourself, new and exciting opportunities and projects, and transition and movement. So in our center stone, we had this Anzus, which is communication. So this opportunity to communicate, it comes from the absolute chaos that is your life or was your life beforehand. For me, because I'm reading this in a spiritual lens, but it could mean other things for other people. It was having to give up, and coming to this realization um, that there's a spiritual world that's not connected to the religious world. Not everybody's going to be happy with that, but you control the movement from there. Like you can sit. I can sit in the my missionary friends, like they're really distancing themselves from me, which they are, and I still pray for them. I love them. Some of them just have agreed to not say anything, and like they just want to think I'm crazy, and that's fine. Um, but good work still gets done because like we are still the goal is light and love, and that really is the goal of Jesus, right? From the Christian's perspective, he wasn't out there, you know, he was out there with the poor people, he was out there with the hungry, he was out there spreading light and love to the people that society had forgotten or refused to acknowledge. And when we look at his example of the work that the figure of Jesus Christ did when the historical figure lives, it was all about sharing light and love. All the other nonsense comes from years and years and years of people wanting power, money, and control. So, separate the seed from the weed, right? So, what does that lead? Well, there's always potential for ice. Isa is ice, right? That's a potential outcome, which means that some of the relationships, you need a new tribe, is really what I'm hearing. Like your tribe is going to change, and always be careful with the tribe. And if you watch the channel, you know that I'm a pourer outer of love, but I'm not always so good about letting people in. So the people who are in my space that have gotten there through mission work and through religious work, um, they're going to want to clear themselves out, and that's going to leave some holes. But I shouldn't just be quick to fill up those holes. So Isa is a menacing stone. That means clarity, stasis, challenges, introspection, watching and waiting. Ice, unstoppable force, stops and pauses, focus and self control, lack of change, stuck, warning. Everything freezes around you. Use the power within you. What is coming from within you? Icy condition of your life, locked in place, skating out of control. Be patient because ice will melt. Um, execute self control. Pause. Be careful. Don't slip. Um, don't fall asleep. So, Kathy, the short form is we had all three of the menacing stones in one read. I believe that might be the first time that it has ever happened. Um, but I think that, the Odin stone, the center stone, is that always happens when we talk about spiritual things. It's the same is true with politics, right? I don't ever talk about politics. My mother was very, very political, and my brother is very political, and they're shouters. My mother's passed on, but my brother, he's a shouter, and you're gonna hear his opinion, and he is gonna tell you like it is, and he's not interested in a conversation. He wants you to just adopt his view and move on. He doesn't want to have a discussion about it. The discussion he wants to have about it is to prove you wrong, so you'll adopt his view, and that can create very icy conditions. You have the power to not move your energy into those spaces. Like, don't don't kind of look at the landscape and just move away from that kind of energy so that you don't get stuck. And really, it's like the things you can't control are the people throwing up obstacles. You can move around them. Don't get stuck in the ice. Be real careful about the landscape that you create. So let me pause and look at comments before I read cards. Oh, I do hold multiple beliefs. I have a hyphenated last name, and if I ever write a book, it's going to be called Hyphenation, because I think I'm hyphenated in a lot of ways, probably everything. Runes are fantastic. For whatever reason, runes resonate with me more than tarot cards do. Maybe because it's less to remember. I don't know, but it's also part of the Celtic tradition. The one necklace that I read is Ogham, which is another system. There's no evidence that Ogham was ever used for divination, although people do use it for divination now, and I have them here that I could do them, use them for divination, but that's more of a recent, last 400 years kind of thing. Mostly, Ogham was used to write tombstones and memorials and things like that. But that's the ancient Irish language, and for whatever reason, the runestones have always resonated with me. I don't know why. Oracle cards come and go. These are the two that I've always used, and I buy all these other cards, and then I always come back to these two decks because I think maybe because I understand them the most, or my energy is really into them. I like them. I don't know. They just speak to me. So we're going to ask Spirit for any clarifying cards, doing 3 passes. If nothing comes out, nothing goes with the read. And we'll see. I have this huge table, and because there's so much crap behind this computer, I can't push my laptop back any further. To push the stones back. All right. All right, Spirit, 3 passes. That's pass 1. Pass 2. Okay, on the bottom is Divination, which is Ogham. So guides, Ogham, and tree spirits. And really, I think that's the key to any spiritual practice, whether it's a religious practice in one of the 5 major religions or the outer faiths. It's having some sort of practice that resonates with you. And I think the thing that I don't like about the church or about Druidry, the institution, is that it's somebody's idea of what should be right for you. And I like that in the practice that I do, everybody's path, because that's what Druids believe, is everybody's path, so long as it doesn't hurt someone, right? It's not as long as your path isn't hurting someone, your path is just as valid as my path. And it's not up to me to judge your path. It's up to me to help you along your path, to if I have the ability to help and provide resources or support or an encouraging word. That's the part of Druidry that I absolutely love. And I'm not a fan of clicky kind of things or elitist kind of things. I find every time I watch anything that's done by OBOD, which is the main Druid organization, it just feels like a whole bunch of snooty people that are in this giant clique. And I'm like, I could get that at the church. Why would I subscribe to it? I also don't like they charge for all of their courses. OBOD. If you want to be an official druid, no, you don't have to pay to be an official druid, number 1. And number 2, I understand that people put money and time into creating the classes. But knowledge should be free, especially spiritual knowledge. Did the ancient druids do it that way? No, people would go and then they would work the farm, and there would be a communal way of living so that they could get the education in the druid colleges. So I don't like elitist things. Anyway, She of the Woods, peace, connection, and home. And look how peaceful she is. And I think Spirit is saying, you create this peace, right? If things get icy because people are giving you all kinds of crap, right? And I think, we're all going through this. There's always people in our lives who are judgmental and have something to say about the way we live. You create the peace. You're in charge of it. You're the one who gets to close your eyes and say, not dealing with your nonsense. So remember, you're in charge of that peace at home. And then, really avoid depression. So this is the blue card, which is depressed, isolated, help. Just remember that you're never alone, right? You might have to find a new tribe. And I certainly suffer from bouts of depression. I think that's genetic, but I also think, I isolate myself. I do self isolation because I'm so protective of who I let into my inner sanctum. And Spirit's just reminding me to not do that because I will have a tendency to get depressed and think I'm all alone, even though I'm not. What does Earth Wisdom have to say? My cat's over here, and the treats are downstairs. His name is Marvin. I have 3 cats, and Marvin spends the workday with me. I'm gonna get him a little tie because he comes to work with me. And then outside of this door is our other orange cat, who we call the guard kitty because he guards the door. I'm gonna get him a little security vest. And then our black and white cat, he's a tuxedo, so he's already wearing a fancy outfit. We call him the CIO. Okay, Spirit. Any cards to go with this message? All right. We have 3. These 2 came out together. Blessed sight and practical intuition. And those are balance cards. So blessed sight is being able to see things from the spirit side, and practical intuition is being able to see things from the earth side. And so these 2 came out together, in a balance, which is really what EWAS is talking about. Cooperation, finding the middle ground, to communicate. So absolutely spot on. And then divine light, right? So I love this card. This is, like the Stonehenge card, and they're walking toward the light and they're walking toward it. And notice the landscape. So it's a beautiful landscape. They're coming from something beautiful. They're going to something beautiful. But you have to keep an eye on the landscape to make sure that this isn't an icy path or muddy or whatever. You have to make sure that you're following the right light. So overall, this is a great reading. It's a great reminder, even though we had all those menacing stones. It's just a great reminder that we're on the right path, but being on the right path doesn't make it the easiest path. That's what I'm hearing. So what I want to do now is I'm going to pull stones for all of you. Make sure my cat's back here like, give me snacks. They're downstairs, dude. Go see Dad. All right. So Megan, I'll pull a stone for you. Kathy, would you like a stone for you? And when I'm reaching back here, it's to pet this cat who knows I'm talking about him. I'm talking about you. All right. So Megan, yours will be first. So I'm just going to ask Spirit to provide a message to Megan for her highest good, something for her to consider in meditation, something for her to think about in any facet of her life for her highest good. And so you have Uraz. And the quick one for Uraz is Wild Ox. Physical strength, speed, untamed potential. It means more than that. That's why I don't only use that little chart. I use that little chart when I'm reading for people so they can follow along. But let me get the book. Uraz does mean wild bull. That's the translation. So Fehu is the first stone in the alphabet, and that's tamed cattle. Um, wild bull is the untamed cattle, or the god Horus. Strength, tenacity, courage, freedom, untamed potential, wild bulls, masculine warrior, life force, vigor, free will, healing and strength, independence, our most wild nature. Don't be wildly led by emotion. Use your instincts correctly. A phase of life has come to an end and forces a new beginning. Changes and positive growth. Learn to live in your new reality. Overcome your wild nature before it overcomes you. You will overcome any obstacle. What a good stone for you, because you have the big move coming up, and people really aren't excited about it. But it's a great opportunity for you. It's like spot on. Spot on. So you can go into meditation after this and just think about it. Like, you're on the right track. Any decision that you ever make is the right one for that. I mean, even if it's a bad decision, it's the right decision to be made, because it's going to teach you something, right? In our meat suits, we're supposed to be learning stuff. So if you would make a bad decision, I make bad decisions about Taco Bell all the time. I love Taco Bell. It does not love me. And so I know that when I go to eat one of those delicious taco things, I can never pronounce them, I know that I'm going to suffer for it in exactly 24 minutes. And I still eat it anyway, because I like them and I'm willing to put up with it, right? So even when we knowingly make bad decisions, you know, the outcome is the outcome, and we learn something from it. So you're making a good decision about a good thing that's going to be empowering to you. And not everybody's going to love it. People are rooted in their own reality, and not everybody is on the same spiritual plane, right? If they're low vibrational people, or your vibrations don't match, like that's an issue. I always used to talk to, because I ran a bunch of youth groups, like, you can't, if you're sitting on top of a table, it's really hard to pull somebody up onto the table. It is very easy for people to pull you off the table. So know where your strengths are, know where your energy sits. Oh, see, Taco Bell is my favorite and harmful behavior too. Marvin is really interested in this. All right, let's get a stone for Kathy. Okay, Spirit, can we pull a card for Kathy for her highest good? Something for her to consider as she meditates and thinks about it. Marvin is really trying to help me out here. Marvin must like you. Marvin really wants catnip, which is up here on the table. That's what he wants. Spirit, a stone for Kathy for her highest good, something for her to consider, and that will bring her wisdom and light and love. You have Kinaz. That's the Kinaz stone. And the short form of Kinaz is, I have to find it on here. Well, it means torch. Vision, revelation, creativity, and technical ability. That's what the short form is. Some way more cool stuff in the book. Vision, creativity, inspiration, vitality, improvement, hope, passion, light, creativity, enlightenment, teaching and learning, ancestral knowledge, warmth and illumination, creativity and clarity, controlled fire, spiritual strength. And if you feel like your energy is inverted, that you're blocked, it would be a learning block or blocked light. So I don't know if you have some creative things going on, or you're feeling inspired to do something, or if you're not, you might be a little bit blocked as far as creativity goes. But Spirit's asking you to think about creativity and passion and where it sits in your life. All right. Well, this has been so much fun. I have to go quick eat lunch before I have a meeting at 1. It was so awesome to hang out with you ladies. Thank you so much for coming. And I think this posts, and it'll post as a stream for other people to watch. if they want to watch later. Hestia is working, so I'll have to do one at night so that she can come. Thank you so, so much for coming. And I hope you have a great day. I'm wishing you all the very best in light and love. Take care. Bye-bye.